Good evening and welcome to CSL on the Lake. I'm so delighted that you're here today. Let us begin with the land acknowledgement, and I hope you've all had a wonderful, beautiful day. The rain has stopped and something beautiful is happening. So welcome, welcome. The land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaty signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. We're all in this together. We are all one. And now, Being Kind by Nemo Patel. Hi, everybody. Well, I'm not sure what's going on. We're having some technical difficulties today. So let us just stop sharing that video and let us just get straight to our meditation time. As we begin tonight, what I'd like you to do is just quiet your mind, close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and just know that this time together is an opportunity to develop a deeper relationship with this incredible presence that we call, what's going on? Oh, now my computer is giving me difficulty. All right, let's see. There we go. All right. I'll tell you, it's a day. It's a day. All right, let us join together knowing there are no accidents or mistakes and that everything is unfolding in divine perfection. Let us join together in consciousness as we quiet our mind and go into this time of meditation. Taking a deep breath in, relaxing into this moment, and taking another deep breath in, and just relaxing a little bit deeper. And one more deep breath. And acknowledging in this moment that there's one source, one infinite intelligence. So I invite you to create in your mind a repetitive series of words. I am the I am. I am the I am. I am the I am. The infinite source of life is being me. The infinite source of life is being me. The infinite source of all creation is being me here and now. And as we breathe in that idea and settle into this moment, acknowledging and knowing that there really is only one thing going on, one divine presence fully realized through each and every one of us. It is in the place of stillness that I hear that still small voice of spirit. It is in the silence that I receive the information that I seek, the way forward, the way through. It is in the silence that I find my true essence, my authentic self, the sacred, authentic self. So in this place of peacefulness, imagine a world filled with love and light. A world where we care for one another, where we acknowledge and embrace each other's gifts and talents. A world of peace, of love, compassion, kindness. Take a moment to just imagine, to visualize that reality. As I set these intentions for a beautiful life and a beautiful world, I acknowledge that all things are possible, that everything that would appear a miracle is truly just the outpicturing of the law, and all is well. Regardless of disconnections, regardless of momentary interruptions, all is well. Each and every one of us are in the right place at the right time, doing all the right things. So let us take a collective breath in. And allow yourself to begin to return to the surface consciousness. And another deep breath in. And when you feel ready, opening your eyes. And just knowing that right here, right now, all is well. All is good. And so it is. So as we begin this evening, I would like to share our vision with you. Transforming humanity through the emergence of the sacred authentic self. And our mission is to welcome you as you are, where you are, without judgment or criticism, and providing a sacred place of learning and growing as you seek to achieve your greatest dreams. Nothing held back, no limitation. We offer Science of Mind classes, social events, inspiring workshops, thought-provoking services, and practitioner support. And we honor the revelation of your emerging authentic self, your sacred self, through our positive messaging and loving support. And now let us see if we can get the song We Shall Overcome by Nemo Patel. Well, it appears that we are not meant to have music this evening. So let us get straight to our message. The message tonight is you and me create society. We create the society that we live in. And so the affirmation that I would like us to start with is, and you can say this with me, I am a powerful catalyst of love within society. Say that with me. I am a powerful catalyst of love within society. You see, when we look around, and I know we've had some challenges over the last couple of years for sure. We've been, locked in, locked down. We've, gotten COVID or not gotten COVID. We've known someone with COVID, or, we've lost friends and family to this virus. And we look around our world and we see all manner of distress societally. We see, racial injustices. We see challenges facing people who are now out of work because of this COVID lockdown. There's a whole bunch of things that we can focus our attention on. And by focusing our attention there, what we're doing is expanding the ideas of limitation, of fear, of doubt, of worry. We're expanding the things and the places where stuff is not happening the way we would like it to. But here's the thing. We're all a part of a collective consciousness, and each one of us has the ability to begin to change it all by relaxing into who and what we truly are, living from our authentic self with love and appreciation. And what happens is we begin to create a world that is really beautiful. Now, it doesn't mean there won't be bumps in the road. Doesn't mean that COVID won't come back. It doesn't mean that every day is going to be sunshine and lollipops, rainbows and roses. What it does mean is that as we journey along and as we study this teaching and as we become more aware of who we truly are, we will navigate those rough waters in a easier, more beautiful way. And that's why we come to these services. That's why we take these classes. That's why we study the science of mind. My mind creates my world. And what I mean by that is not so much that I can change it or alter it by thinking a new thought, but what I can do is look at how I perceive reality and how I'm experiencing it. And you can do the same thing. If I look at the world as an expression of neutral energy, and from that neutral energy, I then look upon it and name it. I name it good, I name it bad, I name it, whatever, it's okay. However I name it, it now becomes my experience, right? So if I've named it bad, then my experience will reflect that. I will probably be anxious and frustrated, maybe fearful and annoyed, maybe even angry and outraged. But if I look at it as neutral, and from a place of possibility, I go, now what? Then what happens is we can listen for that still small voice. We can begin to hear that voice of spirit. Because remember, when we talk about this divine energy, it is everywhere present. So it's right here where I am. It's right there where you are, right? It's all knowing. Everything that needs to be known is already known in mind. And it's all powerful. There's the great news. So whatever's going on, if we can just sit back and relax a little bit, we can begin to reveal the answers through ourselves, and we can start to make shifts and changes in our world that can make a really big difference overall. In The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote, we cannot afford to hold personal animosities or enmities against the world or individual members of society. All such thoughts are outside the law. Love alone can beget love. So the idea of love being the answer. Now, love, sometimes we misunderstand what it means. Love is not about the emotion of, hugging and kissing and having a good time. It is about oneness, unity. So when we acknowledge that there's only one thing going on, and we begin to operate within that model, within that idea, when we start to see connection rather than separation, then we can begin to create a society that is far more harmonious and a lot more fun to live in. But it's up to each one of us to be a part of that, to be part of the solution. We cannot expect the world to be different, to show up different, if we're angry and frustrated. Our experience will match that. Okay? So as we go into this week, I'd like to invite you, if you would like, is to focus on your relationship with society, with the world around you. How is it that you think about government officials or sending money off to Canada Revenue Agency? Or what is it that you think about, the roads that have potholes in them? Like, what is the energy that you bring as you travel around? And even as you look at different cultures and people that appear to look different than you or act different than you, what are your feelings around that? And what we want to do is create a harmony within ourselves, right? I can't change the world out here, but what I can do is change the way I view it. I can change the way I think about life and about the world. I can change what it is that I'm bringing to the table at any given moment. So I invite you to think about your part in the grand scheme, right? We're all in this together. You heard that in the land acknowledgement where I started, right? We're all in this together. And if we're in it together, then what I think goes into the universal subjective consciousness, right? And it manifests. So if you think about your garden for a minute, okay, let's just take it down to another place here. So if you think about the garden, you've got a seed and you put that seed into the soil. And with water and care and time, the seed sprouts. And you end up with a flower or a fruit or a vegetable, an herb, weed perhaps, right? So whatever seed you plant, that's what you're going to get. Now we know this, don't we? If we plant zucchini seeds, we are not getting squash. Well, zucchini is kind of squash, isn't it? Let me rephrase that. If we plant zucchini seeds, we're not getting tomatoes. We might want tomatoes, we might love tomatoes, but we're not getting them. When we plant a seed idea into our consciousness, the only thing that can sprout from it is what has been planted. So I want you to think about this for a minute. Think about where you're worried, where you're afraid, where you're feeling a sense of separation or upset. Take a look at those places and acknowledge, if you can, that you've planted a seed into the subjective mind. And of course, the law of the universe, which is the subjective, can only do one thing with it: return it to you, manifest. How's that? Return it to you, manifest. So when we're journeying along and we're checking in, one of the practices, and I think I mentioned this last week, one of the practices I've started doing as a result of the mentor that I'm working with is I keep a daily journal. And then at the end of each week, I go through that journal and I highlight what I've written. Not everything. I highlight the points that stand out, repetition that I see, negativity that I see, or maybe great illuminating ideas, because all of it will come out. You see, when I sit down in the morning, I write stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness. That's what I write. And as I'm writing this out, it's like leave the pen on the paper and just move it along. And I do this for about 15 minutes. And I don't read it afterwards. I close it up and I wait to the end of the week. And when I read it, sometimes I'm really surprised by what I see there, what I find. So this practice, what it does is it allows me to see the ways in which I am creating the life I am currently living. Now, if I want something different in my life, then I must go back and begin to change how I view the world, how I view myself, the words that I use, the way that I speak, and how I show up, right? So as we're focusing on the society, we want to just check in, because it's really easy to go, that Justin Trudeau, what a, or Doug Ford, can you believe that guy? Or John Tory, look what he did, or look what those people are doing. No. We want to pull it back. We want to pull it back. Those people aren't doing anything. Everything in my life comes from me. Everything in my life is coming through my consciousness. I am a conduit of the divine, right? I am the conduit of this incredible energy system, and it's moving through me based on the way that I think. The words that I think have power. The words that I use have power. And sometimes we think, well, I didn't say it out loud. Yeah, but I thought it. So we want to just check in and take a look at the world we're living in today and go, do I want a world that feels rough and hard and messed up? Or do I want to experience the world with a sense of possibility and, that I could create something beautiful here? Can I look out the window instead of seeing the flaw or the little scratch on the glass? Can I see the beautiful flowers that are just on the other side? You see, perspective is everything. So you and me, we're creating the world we live in. And as we focus on noticing the way that our attitudes and thoughts are intersecting with the attitudes and thought of the collective, we start to see how the world has gotten to where it is today. The good news, if I don't like what I see, I can change it. But the only place I can change it is here in me, right? That's the only place I can work, is within myself. And so when we go into our spiritual practice, it's really important that we take a look at how we are engaging in the world around us, how we feel about the things that are happening in the world around us. And then are we willing to check in and maybe adjust some of our attitudes in order to create something more beautiful and harmonious and loving? So, if you think back, humans developed communication, right? So how do we use it? A lot of it is complaint and commentary, isn't it? What is wrong with the world? What is wrong with the government, the churches, the country? Can you believe what they are doing, right? What we want to do is begin to change that mantra and begin to look for the beautiful, the serene, the sweet, the magnificent, to look at the world from a new vantage point so that we can achieve some of the great things we want to achieve. We want to begin to see this world that we live in as a beloved, wonderful society. That the people that are around us are fun and interesting and creative and intelligent and warm and inviting, and some are struggling, and I find space to simply hold them in that moment without judgment or criticism. I simply create a container that is safe and secure, that will allow for love to be felt and realized and remembered. And then a change can occur, something beautiful. If you think about an ER physician, for example, working on a critical patient, the doctor isn't going to ignore the illness or the injury, but what they're doing is they're working toward alleviating the suffering. And so as we look at the world today, we have a choice. We can do things that add to it, that create mountains out of it, or we can look at what can I do? What can I bring into this experience that might alleviate pain and discomfort for myself and for others? And it really is about how I view the world and how I look at it. And in the science of mind, we're teaching that we have the ability to see a condition and to transform, transmute, and transcend it in order to reveal the truth. Now, I know I shared with you that I've healed my back, and I'm standing today because I like to stand when I give a message. Sitting, gets kind of lax. I like to stand. So today I decided to rearrange my office so that I could do this in a standing position. I would not have been able to do this a month ago. I would have needed my walker. I would have needed to be sitting on it. So stick with the chair. but something happened, right? And it's not that I went about this with the intention of, okay, I'm going to heal this. I had this idea that when I went to the Unity Convention, if Myrtle Fillmore could heal her body, then I could heal my body too. And that was the extent of what I had put out into the world, is I can do this. It was that simple. There was nothing to oppose it, which is part of the journey when we're looking at manifesting. Part of it is to notice that little voice in the back that goes, yeah, right, like you could do that. Because we do that sometimes to ourselves. And we want to shift that and go, no, this is. It has been done before. If there's anything you desire, anything you're dreaming about, or anything you want to see in the society, just imagine for a moment if it's ever been done. And most things have been. And if you can see that someone else has done it, they've accomplished it, then that means it's possible. And there's your little crack in the facade, so you can begin to shine some light there and begin to move into a greater experience of allowing that to happen. So we want to begin by looking at the world around us and acknowledging that this is our beloved home. This is a society where we can thrive and grow. And when I see something that feels or looks a bit discordant, then I'm going to check in with myself. And where am I feeling a sense of separation? Where am I feeling like there's duality instead of unity? What is it that's going on in me that would allow me to begin to view the world as if it was somehow broken and flawed? John Lennon said that if everyone demanded peace instead of another television set, then there'd be peace. I laughed when I read that. I thought, okay, well, that's one way of looking at it. Krishnamurti said, it is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. So when we look at the world around us right now, I know there's a lot of work being done with anti-racism and changing the way women are viewed and treated, changing the way the Indigenous people of our country are being treated and have been treated in the past. And we're looking at ways to reconcile. And I think that the only way to do that is through the energy and vibration of love, to begin to stop fighting the existing reality, but instead to breathe life into something brand spanking new. Buckminster Fuller said, you never change things by fighting the existing. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Build something, that new model that makes the existing model obsolete. So when we look at things like colonialism and stuff like that, that maybe has set in motion some of the disconnections we see right now, if we focus instead on love, on unity, on oneness, as we spend each day in a place of what is mine to do? What is it that the universe can do through me in this now moment? Because remember, now is the only point of awareness, the only point of power. It is the only thing that exists. We focus a lot of attention on the past, right? The past doesn't exist. It's gone, it's done, it's over. And sometimes we project way into the future. What if? Well, what if we just got present now? Because the future also does not exist. But in this moment, I have an opportunity to create. I have an opportunity to look at the world I live in and go, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? What am I prepared to give into life that might make a transformation that absolutely creates greater harmony and peace? And I really believe the answer to that, of course, is love, but self-love, loving the self. When I come to terms with who I am, when I come to terms with the life that I'm living, when I come to terms with my journey being divine, that what I do and how I do it, the way I do it, the way I show up matters. When I stand in this moment and believe that I am enough, and then I listen in my meditation, in my prayer time, I listen. I listen for that still small voice. And when it comes, I answer the call. There's a saying in Science Mind, treat and move your feet. Now, spiritual mind treatment is our form of affirmative prayer. Treat and move your feet. Prayer without action is a waste of time. So we have to go into that silence, into that place of quiet. And when we go into that place, allow ourselves to simply surrender. There's nothing to do. In the moment that we go into meditation or into treatment, there's nothing for us to do other than to simply be, to be present, to be available to insights and inspiration. And when they come, to follow them, put a little action behind it, let the rubber meet the road so that something gets accomplished. We're on a journey that has no destination, right? There is no end of the road. We are immortal, eternal beings of love and light. And in this moment, we are in this form. And we are here with a collection of people, 8 billion people on the planet by November. That's a lot of energy. And how are we living in it? What part are we playing in the unfolding of society? Are we part of the love, the joy, and the peace, or are we the doldrums pulling it down, putting in time? I, put in time for a number of years, but decided that wasn't as well, it was cracked up to be. So much more fun to be engaged, to be, striving to do something or to create something. So much more fun to show up in a way that lifts or inspires something beautiful, something wonderful. So we have a choice. We have a choice. People have made a whole bunch of laws, and some of those laws maybe make sense. Some of them might be for the protection of society. You shouldn't drive 200 kilometers an hour down the 401. It's a busy highway, might cause an accident, right? So there's some laws that make good sense. But we have to take a look at what we are doing or the things that we're doing that maybe are not creating love, peace, and joy. They're not adding to the harmony of our society, but are detracting from it. And so those are the places we want to put some love, and not to look at something that we think isn't working and judge it as bad and wrong, but instead to look at it and just sit in the quiet and go, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? What is it that I can bring to the collective at this point in time that only I can bring? Right? Remember, I've said this many times, that each one of us is created unique and special. Each one of us is some part of this divine energy, and we've been created in a way that there's something we bring that no one else on the planet can bring in the way that we do it. That's what each of us needs to find for ourselves. What is my voice? What is your voice? And are you ready to share it? Are you ready to shine so brightly that the world needs to put on some shades in order to look upon you? Are you ready to be that divine being that you were created to be? Do you acknowledge that everything about you, the good and the bad of it, is all part of that one whole that makes you who you are? Sometimes we look at aspects of ourselves and we go, no, that's bad. Let me get rid of that. But what if it isn't? What if it isn't? What if that thing about you that you don't like is the very thing about you that sets you apart, that makes you brighter, more brilliant, more beautiful? What if that thing that you've deemed as bad and wrong, when integrated with all that you think is good and beautiful, when it's all integrated together, the whole self is revealed? And then what? That's when you really shine. That's when something beautiful can happen. That's when the world is turned on its heel and something bright occurs in that moment something beautiful. We demonstrate something wonderful and magnificent by simply allowing ourselves to breathe life into every moment. In The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote, we can no more have an individual mind than we can have an individual ownership of the principle of mathematics or of harmony or of beauty, right? There is a collective consciousness. We live, move, and have our being in it, not separate from it, in it. We are part of one thing. And that one thing is the collective. And as we sit back and play in this societal thing we've created, we get to decide what it looks like and how it's going to be for future generations, where it's going to go. In one of the readings that I did today, it said, you may have heard it said that when the old guard dies off, then things like racism, genocide, homophobia, terrorism will vanish. The old guard, however, are not people. The old guard are the systems that we've put into place. And those systems, when left unchallenged, continue to dictate how any given society operates. Society is an agreement of the people. And if we are looking to manifest a world that works for the highest and best good of all of humanity, then that means our relationships with each other must serve that highest potential. That the laws, the policies, all of it has to be about creating a collective consciousness that reflects our oneness, not our separateness. You see, we're not really separate. There's only one thing going on. There's only one thing going on. So as we begin to move through our life journey, it is essential that we begin to explore my place in it and your place in it. And this is something we must do individually. It can't be done like, oh, my husband said this, or my wife said that, or my friend said that. No. We must go into that silent place. We must go into the quiet part of our mind and just allow inspiration to show us the way. You see, we live in a universe that is intelligent and that everything that needs to be known is known. And in the moment that I get out of my ego consciousness that says, I know it all, and relax instead into a place of, I know nothing. I know nothing. I surrender. What happens is inspiration comes, ideas flow, and I become a conduit for that infinite, eternal energy and presence. And that's when beautiful things happen. That's when transformations occur that appear miraculous, like the healing of my back. It's not a miracle. It's the natural outpicturing of the law. An intention was set with clarity, with acceptance, right? Sometimes we set an intention, but we're going, I don't know if that'll happen. It won't, because we doubt, right? But in the moment that we set an intention and go, yes, this is going to happen. What happens is that in time, it all occurs. I set the intention on Sunday. The healing came on the Thursday in the most surprising and unsuspected way. But that's how everything unfolds. But we get anxious, don't we? Wait a minute, I said an affirmation. How come it hasn't manifested? It's been a day. It's been an hour. It's been a week. What we want to do is just let go of all of that. And know that where I am right now is right and perfect. Where you are right now is right and perfect. That the things that are happening in this moment are right and perfect. There is no place where this universe has left something out or someone out. All of it is here. All of it is now. All of it is present. All of it is divine perfection. Exactly as it's showing up. So as we move into this week, I want to invite you to really pay attention to your meditation and prayer time, your journaling. In fact, I'd invite you to journal every day for a while, maybe forever. You never know. Take time every day, even 15 or 20 minutes, where you just quiet your mind and allow yourself to sit in the place of possibility. Eckhart Tolle talked about the power of now. Now is the point of power. Now is a point of creativity. Now is where things happen. They can only happen now. There is no other place. There is no other time. Now is the only thing that exists. And in this now moment, if I can relax into it, if I can open up my mind to it, if I can quiet my ego, my fear, my doubt, my worry momentarily, because I might not be able to do it forever, but if I can do it for a bit, then what happens is there is a rush of energy that flows in and through me that provides me with all of the answers that I seek. Everything I need to create the life that I've been dreaming about already exists. I don't have to go find it. It's right here. I don't have to look for it out there. That's not where it is. It's right here inside of me. It's right there inside of you. See, you were created unique and special, absolutely divinely perfect. That's what I know about you. You are truly a reflection of an incredible consciousness, this divine universe expressed as you. And your talents and your gifts are absolutely remarkable. And as you explore them and as you share them and as you stand naked to the world, what happens is ideas flow and people flock to you and things change in ways that you hadn't even imagined that they could change. And all of it happens effortlessly. Effortlessly. You see, when we're in the flow, everything moves. Everything moves, and it moves with ease and with grace. So I want you to spend the next week or forever looking at the world in a way that really acknowledges the highest and best good of all of it. Notice your surroundings. Notice the way you view yourself, not to beat yourself up or to go, oh, aren't I great? But to just acknowledge who that you really are, to take time to explore the magnificence, the gifts that you have, the wonder of your life, and to look around and notice the trees, notice the plants, notice the people. Notice where there is struggle and then where there is comfort. And then look at ways that you might provide comfort in a place of struggle. I remember Genevieve and I were at a Shoppers a while ago, and as we were walking in, there was a gentleman standing outside the door asking for money. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't have any cash on me, but I'd be happy to get you some food. And he was like, that would be so fantastic, thank you. And I don't think he actually believed we were going to do it, but we went in and we bought some nuts and we bought some cheese and we bought some water and some trail mix or something, and just a few odds and ends, probably spent $10 or $11, nothing, no big deal. And we brought out this bag of stuff and handed it to him, and he was in complete and utter disbelief. And he grabbed me and gave me the biggest hug, and he was like, thank you so much. And then he's looking at Genevieve and he's debating, because she's a young person, going, do I dare? And then he goes, oh, come here, you little shit, and he gives her this great big hug. And her and I get in the car. And she goes, that's the best moment ever. She goes, wow, that was so great. And I thought, what a rich gift that she received and that I received by serving someone else in a way that was really very simple. But sometimes we don't do that. We ignore what's going on around us. But in those moments, I think sometimes we miss the blessing. We were blessed that day. Genevieve and I were blessed that day, far beyond the gentleman who we gave the food to. We received a huge blessing of acknowledging humanity in a struggling sense, but doing it with love and gratitude and appreciation and watching the change that occurred. So I invite you, as you notice things in your surrounding, just ask yourself what you're thinking, what you're hoping for, and look at ways that maybe you can serve. You know, all of us have gifts that we bring to the world, and maybe there's some place where we can volunteer our time that would make a difference for somebody else, even if it's helping out a neighbor. You know, our neighbors are wonderful. They help us out. We help them out. I serve on a couple of boards so that I can hopefully bring something good into the lives of some other people. And each one of us has an opportunity to do that if we so choose. The world is changing, and it's up to us to make sure that the changes that are occurring are unifying changes, changes that create a greater place for us to live. And my true hope for myself and, you know, for all of us really, is that when I leave this world, it will be just a smidge better than when I came in. In The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote, "The human comes into this life subjective to the race consciousness and to their own environment. They unfold their own personality and begin to create a new subjective thought." I invite you to forget what you might have been told as a child, that anyone who has judged or criticized you, forget anything they've ever said, and go into that still, quiet place inside and reveal the glorious, beautiful human being that I know you are, and allow that person to have full life. You deserve it. The world deserves it. Thank you. Great videos, but no sound. Oh, well. Well, we can live without music for a change. Just this one time, right? Well, at this time, I'd like to just pass the collective basket, the you know, where we give back of our good to support this ministry. I hope something said or done today, even with our wee glitches, you know, technology, it happens. But if there's something that was said or done that has actually assisted you in any way, I invite you to give with love. And let us say together the offering affirmation. Together, please. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, to prosper. It is evidence of my conviction. It does its good and perfect work and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And of course, there's a number of ways you can give to CSL on the Lake. You can give by e-transfer. You can go to our website and hit the give link, and through Tithely, you can make a donation. And of course, you can mail checks to CSL on the Lake, 38 Kootenay Crescent, Toronto, Ontario, M1J 1R7. And of course, all donations are tax deductible. That's the good news. Get a little money back from Revenue Canada. So we've got a couple of announcements, and the first is the book club continues on Saturday. We're reviewing the book, The Art of Abundance by Dennis Merritt Jones. And so it's a free event. Buy the book if you like. If not, just come and join the conversation. You will get lots of insights. And down the road, I'll be speaking with Dennis tomorrow, or Wednesday actually, pardon me, and we're going to invite him to come into the book club, and he's going to share some insights that he has. He is quite a remarkable individual, and you won't want to miss that particular class, and I'll have those details for you next week. Wednesday night, we have our drop-in class. It's the Science of Mind, a deep dive into this work so we can get a really good understanding of what it is and how it works. The drop-in sessions are $20, and the book that we're using is the Science of Mind original 1926 text. You don't necessarily have to buy the book. Again, the conversation is very stimulating, and I think you'll find that it's very, very powerful and will offer you some great answers to great questions. Plus, if you have questions, hopefully we can get them answered. I'm offering a training come August 10th for anyone who would like to officiate memorial services. And this is a special calling. This is not something that everyone would feel comfortable doing. But if you feel called to support those who are grieving by offering a celebration of life service that truly honors their loved one, then I invite you to send me an email and I'll get you the information about the upcoming class. And every Friday, there's my Joy Show on YouTube and Facebook. And this week, my guest is Curtis Anderson. And Curtis is my eldest son. He's a fitness trainer. He's been getting me all, okay, I'm working on it, all fit and buff. And so we're going to explore with him his journey to finding his authentic self and moving from being a banker to being a fitness trainer. It's a bit of a stretch, but I'll tell you, he's a very happy guy, and I'm really grateful. And fall classes are beginning. So September 8th, we'll be having the class, The Essential Ernest Holmes. And on September 17th, we will start a series called The Emergence of the True Self. So these two classes are accredited classes for anyone who is considering becoming a practitioner or maybe even moving on to ministry. These are required courses for that. So one of them is on Thursdays. It will run Thursday morning and Thursday evening. So whatever time works best for you, you can sign up for. And the Emergence of the True Self will run on Saturday mornings. And the Founding Members Club, there's still a little time to participate. We decided that we would make it 1 year. And so at the end of September, that's when we'll close it off. And what we're creating, actually our board president is creating this beautiful tree, and the names will go on as leaves for every person who has been a part of founding CSL on the Lake. So really excited. I'm truly grateful to all of you for all of the effort and work that you put in. All right, and on that note, let us close. Let us join together in consciousness as we release the energy of this day and this moment, the energy of this service tonight, that we allow ourselves to be beacons of hope, love, and faith, that something wonderful happens because we're here, because we show up. So in this moment, I acknowledge that there is only one power in the universe, infinite, creative, intelligent, everywhere present, all powerful, all knowing, right here where I am. I acknowledge it, I celebrate it, and I live from that understanding moment by moment, day by day. And as such, something beautiful occurs. And for that, I'm truly grateful. So grateful for each one gathered here today, grateful for the beauty of technology and knowing that it will work fine next week. Looking forward to our new home when we move in September, and knowing that hopefully these challenges will be a thing of the past. But regardless, today is a gift and a blessing. And for that, I am profoundly grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And if you stick around, we're going to gather together and have a conversation and a little bit of community. Thank you so much for being here today. I love you. Bless you. Namaste.